In today's video for Ark Raiders, we're going to be going over the brand new update that's hit today, the latest patch, and exactly what's going to be coming from it. There are some absolutely awesome things with this patch, including making our way towards Stella Montis, which is a kind of community event where we're going to be chucking a whole bunch of donations at them in order to progress it and unlock it eventually. So first thing I would say, if you can, try to chuck them as much materials as possible, because what you want to do is make sure you get the 900 merits available that you can actually guarantee so that you can use them when you go on to the next stage of this. Now once this is fully done, I'd imagine it's going to take at least a few days because they did backtrack it a bit because it was actually being unlocked too fast, so then they made it so that a whole bunch more resources are needed. Once we have fully completed it though, you will unlock the area up the top here, Stella Montis, which is going to be a brand new map. Alongside that though as well, and up at the moment, is a new event which is the Locked Gate. I didn't have a chance to play this unfortunately, but it does look kind of cool, where you're going to need to open certain areas and gate with around 4 keycards in order to grab yourself some really nice loot. However, I wanted to try the new one, the big bad that's just been included with this update, and that's the new Matriarch. As you can see, this spawned on Blue Gate and it says that there's going to be a new massive Ark enemy, and this one I think even supersedes the Queen, and it's also going to be guarded by a whole bunch of protecting enemies around it. However, me and a friend jumped into the map and we searched for around about 20 minutes and had absolutely no luck. I even went back in on my own later on to see if I was missing anything, so it's either some kind of prerequisite that I didn't realise at the time, or it wasn't completely implemented properly at the time we were trying this. Once it is done though, I'm sure this enemy will be absolutely awesome, and hopefully it gives us some really nice loot and maybe even a specialised part as well. Now on top of this, one of the things that's really cool is that they've added a whole bunch of extra gadgets to this update. The first one is going to be a gas mine. This is very similar to the gas grenade where you throw it in, but instead with this one you're going to place it, and if an enemy player trips it, then all of their stamina is going to get depleted really fast. I'm sure this one will be quite fun to use. I definitely can't see it being meta because it can be a bit tricky and you'd probably rather have damage in its place if possible, but it will be a nice one that I'll be trying out later on. However, for me, the star of the show is probably going to be this next one, and that's going to be the Seeker Grenade. These things, when I looked at the damage, I thought were going to be a little bit subpar. I think I've got used to my wolf packs and dishing out a crazy amount of damage on your arcs, but even with how much damage these do at just 50, it works out absolutely amazing. And because they stack, you're able to use them on a lot of flying drones and just enemies to take them out a whole bunch easier than you would have been able to. Me and a friend used these and we really flew through the matches this way and had a lot of fun just taking down enemies left, right and centre. You can use it on pretty much all of the Ark and they take down their health really nicely. Drones, turrets, even as you'll see just over here, we even managed to spot a surveyor, and even though I thought it was going to take quite a few of these, I threw one, my friend threw 3, and with 4 of them it actually completely took it down. So fingers crossed this thing hadn't been damaged already. If it has, let me know in the comments. But I think these may be a bit of a hidden gem and are really good taking into your matches, especially once you get the blueprint. Another one, and this one is going to be something you'll see a whole bunch of clips of on YouTube about soon, because the pulse mine looks like it could be ridiculous for just jettisoning players off of rooftops, off of areas, just being a whole bunch of fun, knocking them into certain other traps, because it's a proximity mine that knocks anything back in its radius. I can definitely see this being on a few YouTube shorts soon, as they look like they'll probably be a lot of fun to use. Then finally for the gadgets, we're going to have the last mine, which is the big damage mine, and absolutely massive amount of damage with 1000, and that's going to be your deadline. As soon as I saw this, I thought this is going to be an absolute boomstick. Going to use it to take out a lot of Ark, going to use it on enemies as well because it actually detonates on players as well, so I thought that could be quite fun. But I used it a few times before I brought this video out, as did a friend, and we've now come to the conclusion that it's a little bit on the absolute terrible side. Let me know if you found a really nice way to use this, but we went into a match, got pinned down by some enemies, and thought it'd be quite fun to chuck it at the very end of a zipline. However, this is not proximity activated, it just has 6 seconds on it, which I found out the hard way. So you have to place it pretty much when you know someone's going to be exactly coming. This can be really, really tricky. You need a lot of setup for this. The only thing I can think of is maybe you'd be able to do it if you had a cloak on as well, if you're trying to take out some of the Ark. But overall, I would say this one, even though it does a lot of damage, is going to be a bit tricky to use in a lot of situations, even on Ark, unless you get your timing right. Now, as well as this, there is actually a weapon, however I haven't come across it yet, and that's going to be the Apophis Lance. As soon as I find that, I'll do a video on it showing you what it's about, but from the sound of it, sounds like it might be a kind of laser stream weapon, although I will have to see when I find it. Now, jumping over to the actual patch notes, the good, the bad, and what you should know, because there are some really big changes. And obviously, this is for that Act 1 patch that kicks in today. You're going to have the new map as soon as the event's completed. That's going to unlock your Stella Montis. Then there's going to be 2 new arcs. The first one's a Matriarch, which I couldn't find, but hopefully that's in soon. And as well as that, there's going to be the Shredder. This one is not going to have a grudge against Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles as far as I'm aware. Instead, it's going to be a new close range enemy that I believe may only appear in Stella Montis or once it's opened up. There's also the new items which we just talked about, but there is actually 6 new blueprints and I've only gone over 5, so I'm not sure if I'm missing one or if there's one that's a secret one. And as well as that, once the event is concluded and we've opened up the new map, you'll also have new quests to explore. Now, unfortunately, I'm going to go over to a few nerfs before I go over a few other things. Balance changes, the wolf pack's value has now dropped to 3,000 coins, and it's also a little bit trickier to craft, as they've completely changed it over. Rather than sensors, it now actually costs motion cores, as well as an extra refined explosive. If you're trying to craft motion cores, they themselves actually cost a little bit more, because now you're going to be charged 8 arc alloy, and as well as that, the launcher ammo is now even more expensive. It's pretty much doubled. So make sure you've got a whole bunch of money on your side if you're going out trying to farm XP, or you just want a whole bunch of launcher ammo for your hole cracker. As well as this, they have actually altered or tweaked security locker breaches. So now they're saying they were over-tuned and they were giving you too much loot. So now they've dropped it a little bit and they don't perform quite as well. However, I've done a few runs during today's patch and I have not found any massive changes, maybe a little bit less, but it's not ridiculous. I got quite a few good purples when I was running them, so I haven't noticed a major change. If anyone has, let me know in the comments, but I think they may have just dropped it ever so slightly. But the big one, and one that everyone should know about, is that XP now is even harder to get hold of because they've nerfed it massively on some of the best arc enemies you should be destroying. So now the XP that you're getting whenever you're destroying Bastion, Bombardiers, Leapers or Rocketeers has actually gone down. Before you were getting 3 per tick of damage and now it's gone down to 2. So overall you're going to get a whole bunch less XP, unfortunately. And as well as that, now whenever you're looting these parts, they're going to be giving you reduced rates whenever you're looting as well. However, for the increased XP, they've now made it a little bit more whenever you're looting parts from Leaper's legs, and as well as that, the thrusters from those Rocketeers. However, it doesn't quite make up, so you will be on a deficit, because those things didn't take as much damage to take down, and they don't have as many parts when they fall apart. So overall, hitting that 75 cap is going to be a little bit trickier now than it originally was before. Now there's a whole bunch of other notes, but I'm not going to go over absolutely everything. I'll leave them on the screen if you want to read it, but the main ones I'm going to be going over for the miscellaneous, one that actually looked quite good is that they've actually upped the drop rate for your Raider caches on how many blueprints they're going to give you. So fingers crossed this will be one means to get your blueprints a little bit easier, because at the moment it's very tricky to kind of complete your blueprints, because most times if you're anything like me, you're getting double up on pretty much everything, especially those patina ones, which are just about everywhere. And as well as that, the other biggie for anyone who has recently been enjoying that new blaze grenade trick where you can chuck it at the queen and pretty much one-shot it, well, it looks like that's been fixed, so now we're going to have to defeat it the old-fashioned way. Except, obviously now it's going to cost us a whole bunch more to buy that hole cracker ammo. So invest in your wolf packs, it's going to make it, and that's going to be the fastest and easiest way to take them down. As well as that, you're probably going to need it for this new Matriarch as well. But yeah, overall, that's pretty much all of the stuff you need to know about this new update. As soon as I get hold of that new weapon, I'm going to be going over exactly what it's like and just how good it is. But as always, there's going to be a whole bunch more content away from me. For now, take care. I'll see you on the next day.